Maya sat by the window each evening, staring at the sky. Her best friend Kara had moved to the Mars colony 6 months ago. Since then, Maya felt a hollow ache in her heart. She missed Kara's laughter, her words, and their long talks at sunset. Every night, Maya traced the red dot on her star map where Mars lay. She wondered whether Kara saw the same sky and thought of her. The distance felt too great to cross. Each morning, Maya reached for her compad and tapped Kara's icon while she watched the screen with hope. Sometimes the call connected for a few seconds, while she saw Kara's smile and felt warmth rush through her chest. Then the screen froze and the signal broke. The connection went dead with only static noise. Maya pressed her palms against her forehead and closed her eyes. She told herself she would try again tomorrow. Maya remembered how they built a small garden on Kara's balcony. They planted wildflowers in pots and watched them bloom under Earth's sun. Kara had always loved bright colors, and Maya learned to paint petals onto her shoes. Now each flower reminded Maya of her friend. She wished she could share morning tea with Kara again. The emptiness in her room echoed her longing, yet she held on to hope, believing friendship could outlast any distance. The next week, Maya decided to try something new. She would write a letter and send it by drone to Kara's lunar address. She sat at her desk and wrote of her days and dreams. She told Kara how proud she felt of her courage in moving so far away. Maya wrote about the new steps she took toward her goals and promised to chase her dreams too. She poured her heart into every line, hoping her words could reach across empty space. When Maya finished, she folded the paper and sealed it in a small tube. She fixed the tube to the delivery drone. The drone's engines hummed quietly as it lifted outside the window and into the night sky. Maya held her breath until the lights faded from view. She stood alone on her balcony and watched the horizon. Even though she could not see Kara's face, she felt the weight of hope steady her heart. She whispered a wish for safe passage. In the days that followed, Maya checked her compad and the signal logs. The delivery code showed that the drone had left Earth's orbit, but she received no reply. The waiting tested her patience. Sometimes she felt her hopes slip away like grains of sand. Still, she refused to give up. Each failure reminded her of humanity's strength. She would adapt, learn, and try again. HFY meant that people rose when they fell. She would follow that path until she heard Kara's voice again. Late one night, Maya had an idea. She would build a better signal booster. She gathered scrap parts from her workshop, old antenna, pieces, spare batteries, and broken circuit boards. She studied technical manuals and sketched plans on her wall. She soldered wires with steady hands and tested each module. When the booster was ready, Maya placed it on her rooftop. She connected it to her compad and sent a test message into space. The machine buzzed as it pushed her words farther than before. The next morning, Maya stared at the screen with trembling fingers. She pressed send and watched the status bar. Crawl. Seconds ticked by like hours. Then a green light flashed. Message delivered. Maya felt her chest swell with joy. She pressed the call icon and waited as the booster relayed her signal through deep space. A moment later, a face appeared on her screen. Kara's eyes shone with surprise and relief. Maya closed her eyes, tears sliding down her cheeks. They spoke. Quietly at first, sharing simple greetings and checking on each other's days. Maya told Kara about the booster and the letter. Kara laughed softly and described her new home under Mars's pink sky. Their voices grew stronger with each word. The emptiness between them seemed to shrink. Maya felt her sadness melt into hope. HFY lived in their determination to stay connected, to friends once separated by light years, found a way to close the gap with human ingenuity and care. As the sun set over Earth, Maya looked up and smiled. She knew the path ahead would still have challenges. But she had shown herself that no star could block her will. Hope soared in her soul. She and Kara had joined hands again across the void. In that promise, Maya felt humanity's true power. The strength to seek connection, to rise when lonely, and to shine light even in the darkest space. The galaxy felt just a little smaller. Maya sat at her desk late into the night, watching the data stream from her signal booster scroll across. the screen. Each successful reconnection with Kara filled her with joy, yet a hollow ache lingered deep inside. Hearing her friend's voice was a gift, but Maya longed to sit beside her under the same sky. She traced the path of the transport shuttles on a star chart tacked above her workspace. The idea of boarding one of those vessels both excited and frightened her. The trip to Mars would take weeks, and she lacked the funds or training to secure a seat. Still, her hope burned brighter with every quiet moment. If humanity could reach for the stars, she could close this distance too. Early the next morning, Maya opened the application portal for the Earth-Mars Passage program. Message about her need to reunite with Kara, recounting how their friendship had carried her through lonely nights. She offered her skills as a volunteer communications engineer on the shuttle, hoping that her work on the signal booster would speak for itself. With a nervous breath, she clicked submit. Then she waited, watching the loading icon spin. Like a distant planet in orbit. Each minute felt heavy, but Maya reminded herself that patience was part of every great journey. Within days, an invitation arrived. Maya read the message 3 times before her heart could settle. She had been granted an interview for passage. The next morning, she prepared by reviewing every technical manual she owned. She practiced answers about life support protocols and emergency repairs. When the HoloLink activated, 3 council members appeared before her. Their questions were firm. How will you handle zero-gravity stress? What motivates you to leave everything behind? Maya spoke with clear resolve. She described the hope she carried for all humanity to stay connected, and how every invention began with a single person's dream. When the call ended, she felt her confidence shine. The weeks that followed tested her resolve. Official correspondence trickled in slowly. Forms required notarization, physical exams, and security clearances. Maya spent evenings filling out pages of paperwork, pausing only to rest her eyes and breathe. Doubt crept in. What if she never made it? But HFY meant facing hardship with grit, and Maya reminded herself of every engineer, explorer, and pioneer who had beaten the odds. She taped a small quote on her wall: "Humanity reaches beyond limits." Each time she saw it, her shoulders straightened and her spirit lifted. To keep her dream alive, Maya turned outward. She organized a small hope for reunion gathering. In her neighborhood park, friends brought snacks, neighbors hung fairy lights, and local children taped handmade cards to a cardboard rocket. Maya shared her story, how friendship bridged worlds, and how one person's mission could inspire many. Her voice quivered with earnest warmth. When she finished, the crowd erupted in cheers and applause. Donations arrived, enough to cover her travel costs and a small stipend for supplies. Maya felt tears fill her eyes. But this time, they were tears of joy and solidarity. Soon, the Earth-Mars Passage Council notified her that her application was fully approved and funded by a new private sponsorship initiative. They praised her community's support and her unwavering spirit. Maya closed her eyes and let relief wash over her. She drafted a quick message to Kara. "I have a seat. I'm coming for you." Seconds later, her screen lit up with Kara's reply, an animated cascade of warm colors and heart emojis. Maya laughed aloud, the sound echoing around her room, and felt the heaviness lift from her chest. On boarding day, Maya stepped onto the shuttle's gleaming platform, her heart thundering, like the engines beneath her feet. She carried only a single backpack with clothes, the letter tube she had once sent, and a small potted wildflower, one of the blossoms they had planted together on Earth. The crew guided her to a window seat. As the hatch sealed and the engines rumbled, Maya pressed her palm to the glass. She watched Earth fall away, a blue marble receding into darkness. She whispered to herself for friendship, for hope. Back on Mars, Kara waited by the colony hub under the glow of artificial lights. She had arranged a small garden beneath the dome, where hardy Martian sunflowers reached toward the sky. At the entrance, she placed a handcrafted banner, "Welcome Home, Maya." Near it, a tray held 2 steaming cups of earth-grown herbal tea, Maya's favorite. Kara's heart pounded with equal parts nerves and excitement as she imagined the moment their hands would touch again. When the shuttle finally docked, airlock doors hissed open with a soft echo. Maya stepped onto the red dust floor and drew in a deep breath of recycled Martian air. She followed the path lined with sunflowers until she saw Kara standing tall beneath the banner. Time seemed to slow as their eyes met across the distance. Then Maya broke into a run, and Kara ran too. They collided in a long embrace, laughing and crying at once. In that moment, two friends separated by millions of miles proved that no void could break the bond of human hope. Stood strong, ready to explore new worlds side by side. Maya stood at her rooftop window and watched the pale moon rise over the city. It had been 3 months since Kara left the Mars colony's domed city to join a research team on Phobos. At first, Maya had been thrilled when Kara came home for a visit. Now the emptiness felt familiar again. Each evening Maya reached for her compad, hoping to see Kara's face. But the screen stayed dark or crackled with static. She missed Kara's soft laugh and simple advice. Her heart ached with the distance, and she did not know how to close the gap. Every morning, Maya powered on her booster array and checked the signal logs. She saw the data from Phobos flicker in and out, 2 full seconds of clear video, then blackness. She waited with clenched hands as the array spun its dish toward the moon's orbit. But the solar storms kept interrupting the link. The more she tried, the more her hope felt fragile. Still, she remembered all the times humanity had risen to impossible challenges. She refused to give in to defeat. Maya spent the next day in the university library, studying reports on quantum entanglement communication. The papers spoke of sending messages instantly across space, using paired photons. It sounded like magic. But magic and technology often began in the same place, a spark of belief. Maya copied pages into her notebook and sketched diagrams of photon chambers and cooling loops. She read how scientists had tested small prototypes on Earth, but no one had used them in deep space yet. She closed her eyes and pictured a world where no friend was ever truly out of reach. Back at her workshop, Maya cleared a table and laid out parts, metal cylinders, laser diodes, and tiny crystals for photon generation. She drew a fresh blueprint on graph paper, labeling each component with neat handwriting. Late into the night, she soldered fine wires and attached reflective mirrors inside a small chamber. Whenever her hands shook, she paused, took a deep breath, and reminded herself of humankind's spirit to invent, to explore, to connect. The hum of her tools became a steady pulse, matching the hope in her chest. After a week, Maya realized she could not do this alone. She posted a note on the Interplanetary Engineers Forum, seeking partners for Quantum Cum, prototype to reach Phobos Station. Within hours, messages arrived from hobbyists, retired scientists, and students across Earth, and even one from a technician on Mars. They shared parts, lists, troubleshooting tips, and words of encouragement. A retired physicist sent Maya a box of cooled crystal assemblies. A Mars shuttle engineer offered to carry her device on the next supply run. Maya felt the warmth of community wrap around her. With help from new collaborators, Maya built the device's final frame. Its core glowed faintly when powered, and sensors blinked in sequence. She connected it to her compad and activated the entanglement sequence. A small photon chamber clicked to life. She sent a hello as a test message to a lab down the seed. Street. When the reply came, received loud and clear, Maya's chest tightened with joy. If it worked on Earth, she believed it could work beyond. She packed the device into a sturdy case, labeled it fragile, and arranged for a courier drone to deliver it to Kara on Phobos. Days passed as Maya watched the delivery tracker. Each update made her pulse race. Launch, Earth orbit, Mars. Flyby Phobos approach. At last the status changed to delivered. Maya exhaled so hard she felt the breath leave her lungs. She powered up the Quantum Cum link and pressed the button. The machine buzzed, then fell silent. Her screen stayed blank for a long moment. Then, like breaking a barrier, a warm voice spoke. "Maya, is that really you?" Tears sprang to Maya's eyes as Kara's face filled the screen. The image was clear, the sound steady. For the first time in months, Maya saw Kara's bright smile spread across her face. They laughed, cried, and spoke of their days apart. Kara described the red dust beneath the Phobos station's dome and the dancing lights of distant Earth in the sky. They planned new tests, new improvements, and shared dreams of exploring beyond Mars together. In that connection, Maya felt a surge of human power, the will to unite, to overcome, and to light a path through any darkness. That night, Maya stepped onto her rooftop again, but she no longer felt alone. She held her compad and looked at the glowing device beside her. The moon shone overhead, but it no longer felt distant. With human hope, determination, and community, Maya had found a way to bridge light years. She whispered to the night sky, "No one is ever out of reach," and smiled. Knowing that friendship and ingenuity could conquer any void asterisk, Maya stood in her workshop late at night, staring at the small holodisplay of Phobos. After her success with the quantum communicator, she felt a new kind of sadness. She and Kara could talk as if they stood face to face, yet the void of space still lay between them. Maya touched the glass, wishing she could reach through and take Kara's hand. She realized that only by visiting Phobos could she truly bridge the distance. The next morning, Maya opened the interplanetary travel registry on her compad. She scrolled through options for passenger service to Mars and its moons. Tourist flights were rare and costly. Government transports carried scientists and cargo, but they sometimes offered volunteer seats. Small notice caught her eye. "Call for emergency repair specialist Phobos supply shuttle." Maya paused. She had never worked on a large spacecraft before, but her time building the quantum device had given her real skills. That afternoon, Maya packed a duffel bag with essential tools, spare circuits, and her favorite notebook. She boarded a commuter, trained to the Moody spaceport. The station buzzed with activity pilots in flight suits, technicians carrying toolboxes, families hugging before farewells. Maya felt her heart race with excitement and fear. She found the supply shuttle's manifest terminal and entered her credentials. To her amazement, the system accepted her as a field repair volunteer candidate. Her breath caught with hope. For the next week, Maya dived into shuttle schematics and maintenance manuals. She studied life support pipelines, guidance computer, diagnostics, and hull integrity checks. Each page tested her patience and concentration. At times, she struggled with complex reactor diagrams or nitpicky calibration steps. But Maya refused to give up. She reminded herself that humans had built great ships like this before. If she learned fast and worked hard, she could earn her place among the crew. Soon came the training sessions. Maya entered the zero-gravity simulator, where hidden air jets lifted her weightlessly. At first she spun and flailed, but she learned to steady herself by pushing off guided rails. She practiced emergency repairs on a mock cargo hold hatch, tightening bolts with robotic arms. Sweat beaded on her forehead as she raced to finish before the timer beeped. When she passed the safety drills, her instructors nodded in approval. Maya felt her heart swell with pride. To cover the extra costs, oxygen packs, fuel surcharges, travel fees, Maya launched a small crowdfunding appeal titled "For Friendship Beyond Mars." She shared her story in a short video, how a childhood bond carried her through loneliness, and how reconnecting in person would spark hope for many who felt alone. In a few days, dozens of people donated credits, and local businesses chipped in supplies. Maya read each message of support, tears of gratitude filling her eyes. Last, the day of departure arrived. Under a pale dawn sky, Maya walked across the tarmac toward the supply shuttle, Artemis Run. Its silver hull gleamed, and ground crew bustled around it. She felt a flutter of nerves as she handed her pass to the flight officer. The officer scanned her ID, then saluted. "Welcome aboard, Engineer Malik," he said. Maya smiled and followed him up the gangway, clutching her bag like a lifeline. Inside the shuttle's cabin, Maya found her station next to a bulkhead panel. Through the window, she saw engines ignite and flames glow at the rear. The rumble built, and Maya gripped the handrail as the ship lifted off. The view shifted from city lights to the curve of Earth's horizon, Maya whispered. Hold on to hope, and squeezed her eyes shut against the acceleration. During the days in transit, Maya worked alongside veteran technicians. She fixed a malfunctioning coolant valve, rerouted power through emergency lines, and patched a micro-tearing in the outer hull plating. Between tasks, she accessed the quantum communicator to speak with Kara, though the messages were instant and clear. Maya felt genuine excitement at each hello. Maya that lit her screen. Each repair she made brought her closer to the moment they would meet again. As the shuttle approached Phobos, its pockmarked surface grew larger in the viewport. Red dust drifted like mist over the station's dome. Maya's chest tightened with wonder. She remembered their garden on Mars, but now she looked forward to the air-filled halls of the research station. The pilot announced, "Prepare for docking," and Maya secured her tools and took a deep breath. The airlock door hissed open with a soft echo. Phobos's low gravity made Maya feel light as a feather. She floated forward and pressed her boots to the grated floor. Ahead she saw Kara's familiar silhouette against the station lights. Kara ran, arms spread wide, and Maya felt tears slip down her cheeks. They met in a gentle embrace that lasted longer than either expected. In that moment, distance vanished. Maya pulled back a little and looked Kara in the eyes. "I did it," she said, voice thick with emotion. Kara smiled, her hand brushing away a stray lock of hair. "You came," she whispered. Together, they stepped into the station's corridor. Maya and Kara had spent joyful weeks exploring Phobos station together. They worked side by side in the research labs, testing experiments and sharing stories of Earth. Each day brought new discoveries, a hidden crystal cave in the station's core, a patch of hardy algae growing in the hydroponic bay. At night, they planned a small garden using Martian soil under the station lights. Maya felt full of life when Kara laughed beside her. But one morning, Kara's holopad pinged with an urgent message from the Interplanetary Research Council. The message changed everything. Kara read the message with furrowed brows. Her research on solar particle filtering had impressed the council. They offered her a lead position on a project at the Europa colony, a moon of Jupiter. The assignment would advance her career and help many worlds. Yet the transfer date loomed only 2 weeks away. When Kara looked at Maya, her eyes held excitement and sadness. For Maya, a wave of loss crashed over her heart. The friend she had just found would soon be gone again. Maya walked to the hydroponics bay and gently touched the algae tanks. Remembered how she and Kara had laughed as plants grew in red dust. Now those memories felt like echoes in an empty hall. The idea that Kara would slip away to Europa filled her with fear. She tried to steady her breathing, telling herself that distance had never been final before. She and Kara had bridged miles, through invention and will. But now the gulf would be wider, and she did not know how to cross it. As the station's main shuttle prepared for refueling, Maya and Kara stood together on the platform. Kara held Maya's hand, tracing its lines with her thumb. "This mission matters," Kara said softly, "but I will come back for you." Maya managed a small smile, though her voice shook. "I know," she whispered, "but I will miss you. More than words." The shuttle's engines hummed. Kara hugged Maya tightly before stepping aboard. Maya watched the shuttle door close and lift away, her heart growing heavy in the low gravity. Maya returned to her workshop and sat at her workbench. Staring at the toolkit scattered before her, memories of building the quantum communicator filled her mind. She believed she could build something new, something to keep their bond strong even across Jupiter's orbit. But she did not know where to begin. Her hands hovered over circuit boards and wires. If humans could reach Europa and beyond, then hope could cross that boundary too. She held on to that thought, feeling a spark of determination grow warm in her chest. The next day, Maya consulted a veteran engineer named Ortiz, who tended station systems. She shared her plan, a portable holobridge device to project live three-dimensional images between Phobos and Europa. Ortiz studied her sketches and nodded. It will need high bandwidth channels and a phase stabilizer, he said. But we can use the station's relay satellites. Maya felt hope bloom. They worked side by side, soldering fiber optic transceivers and arranging miniature projectors. Each clicking solder joint felt like a promise that friendship could outlast any void. Maya posted a request on the colony network, volunteers for testing a new communication prototype. Technicians, students, and even a Mars shuttle pilot offered. To help, supplies arrived in crates, fiber bundles, lens arrays, and cooling fans. Under the station's red glow, Maya and her team assembled the holobridge. Late into the night, they activated the first test link to Earth. The projectors flickered and then revealed a crisp image of a distant lab. Maya smiled, imagining a similar view of Kara on Europa. On the day of final testing, Maya connected the holobridge to the Europa relay network. She tapped the activation pad and held her breath. Seconds passed before a light flickered on a remote module. Then Kara's face appeared, projected in full size at the end of the workshop. Kara's eyes widened in surprise before lighting up. With joy, she stepped forward, reaching out as if to touch Maya's hand through the light. Maya felt tears of relief warm her cheeks. They spoke at once, voices echoing in the workshop. They moved together in the holospace, placing small, potted flowers on a virtual table. The colors were bright, even on Europa's pale soil. Kara described her new lab and offered Maya a rose grown hydroponically. Maya pretended to feel its petals against her fingertips. They laughed as their images shimmered. Distance no longer felt endless. It had become a challenge to solve. They made plans. Weekly holodinners, shared book readings, and a joint research project on planetary microbes. Hope guided each idea like a lighthouse beacon. When the holobridge powered down, Maya and Ortiz surveyed their work. The station's relay lights blinked steadily, promising constant connection. Maya felt pride in her heart. She had turned sadness into action, weaving hope from wires and light. Humanity's spirit shone in her perseverance. A human refused to accept empty silence. Across millions of miles, two friends found each other again through creativity and will. Maya looked at the stars beyond the window and whispered, "I will always find you," knowing that no distance could dim their bond. Late that night, Maya stood at the observation deck again. She watched Europa's faint outline in the distance, knowing Kara worked there under a violet sky. A gentle smile warmed her face. Distance had changed, but hope endured. With human spirit, she had built a bridge across the void. Tomorrow, she would greet Kara's voice and image once more. One day, she would stand beside her on Europa. Itself, Sam stood alone on the frozen shore of Titan's southern lake. Methane frost formed tiny crystals under her boots, and the distant lights of the secret war fleet's repair docks glowed like distant stars. She wrapped her coat tighter, but the cold did not bite as sharply as the loneliness in her chest. Here, far from Earth, she still carried memories of someone she cared about more than the great horizon before her. Each gentle wave of liquid, methane seemed to whisper his name, reminding her how far away he had gone. Kai had left Titan 6 months ago to join the forward fleet near Uranus. He was a brave engineer, always ready with a bright idea. They'd grown up together on the old mining stations of Saturn's rings. Kai used to tease her about her careful plans, while she teased him about his daring spirit. When the fleet program called him away, he promised to write from the edge of the system. He said, "I will send you stories of the stars, Sam. Wait for me." But after the first message, nothing came. Sam tried not to think of that silence. During her shifts in the dockyard, she welded hull panels and tested engine cores for the hidden fleet. She checked every signal channel in the com tower, hoping for a note from Kai. She scanned logs of arrival and departure, looking for his ship's call sign. Each beep and buzz raised her hope, only to leave her heart sinking when it was routine. Maintenance or a test beacon? She missed Kai's warm laughter and the way he solved every problem at his console. One evening, Sam found an old communications array tucked behind a storage module. It had been decommissioned after the new satellite net went online. Rust and dust covered the control panels, but the optics looked usable. She wiped grime from the lenses and powered up the ancient console. The array hummed to life. For a moment, she held her breath at the gentle whine of the signal amplifier. If she could fix this old machine, she might reach Kai directly, no relay, no delay. For days, Sam worked under dim emergency lights. She replaced broken capacitors and rewrote software routines from scrap drives. She used parts from a retired probe's comlink and a spare phase shifter from the fleet's salvage yard. When she finished, the old array stood ready, its dishes pointed toward the black sky. Sam knew signals here, bent strangely around Saturn's rings. But that twist could be an advantage. A beam sent this way might catch Kai's sensors even beyond Uranus. On a silent night, Sam activated the array. She keyed in a message only Kai would understand on old code they had used in childhood. Sam here. I need your smile on these frost fields.
Right.
Titan remembers your heart. The console blinked as the beam stretched out, dancing between ring particles and out to the void. She watched the meters climb, then held her breath as she hit send. Days passed without a reply. Sam kept her vigil, checking the old array. Each night, she patched engines, ran diagnostics on fleet ships, and helped newcomers find their way through the docks. Yet every free hour found her at the console, waiting for that sign. She clung to hope, recalling how humans had endured far worse earthquakes, storms, wars. Earth could survive and rise again, then a single message could find its way to a distant friend. Just as she began doubting, the array's speaker crackled. A weak voice, full of static, spoke her old code back. Sam, is it really you? I almost did not believe my ears. Her heart thundered. She adjusted the gain, and a stronger signal came through, clearer with each repeated phrase. Kai's voice, warm and full of relief, filled the silent dome. I heard you, Sam. I missed you every day. The fleet tested our comnets, and your beam broke through. You did it. Tears filled Sam's eyes. She smiled so wide her face ached. Kai, I never stopped waiting, she whispered. Titan kept me strong. I wanted to show you we are still here. Kai laughed softly. You always make magic from scrap? I'll come back soon. Earth needs its hidden fleet and I need you. His words shone like hope itself, reminding her why they had built this secret armada in shadow. Sam shut down the old array and stepped outside into the pale glow of Titan's sky. The methane lake reflected distant ships. Erin stood on the cooling platform of Mercury Station, her breath echoing in the thin dome air. The sun's glare on the metal walls reminded her of Jaya's bright laughter. They had worked side by side here, tuning solar concentrators and testing communication arrays. Every morning, Jaya would adopt a silly pose as she calibrated the sensors. Erin would laugh and call her Queen of the Sun. But now, Jaya served on Rhea Station, far beyond the asteroid belt. The platform felt empty without her friend's voice. Each evening, after her shift, Erin climbed to the top deck and stared at the horizon. Mercury's sky burned gold, but her heart felt cold. She missed Jaya more deeply with every pulse of the cooling fans. She had sent dozens of messages through the fleet network. She'd tried plain text. She'd tried short video clips, but Mercury's relay dishes could not beam messages that far. The network filters chopped them into static. Erin watched every failed delivery, her chest tightening. One night, she sat amid silent array panels and closed her eyes. Thought took shape in her mind. Humans were clever and resourceful. They had survived Earth's collapse. They had rebuilt in darkness. They had risen from hiding. If plain messages failed, she could send something else, something that would slip through the filters. She remembered the old light code they once used as children on Earth. Morse pulses with colored LEDs. Jaya had loved that code. It had turned simple laughter into secret messages. Erin climbed to the highest point on the platform, caring only about the powerful beacon dish above. She unpacked a small crate of fiber optic lights she had designed during her spare hours. She arranged them in a circle around the dish. Then she programmed them to flash a sequence. 3 pulses for I, 1 for Miss, 5 for you, and so on. She repeated their favorite phrase, Queen of the Sun, in the light code. Each flash sent a beam of encoded light into space, hidden behind the regular station signals. Night after night, she watched the pulses reflect off Mercury's dust cloud. She felt hopeful. This was human spirit at work, creating, adapting, refusing to give up. She built more patterned, small rhythms that held jokes only Jaya would understand. She recorded them into the station logs as regular diagnostic checks, so nobody would notice. 2 weeks later, Erin returned to the console to review her log files. Among the routine diagnostics, she found a new entry labeled Mercury Beacon Test. Her heart pounded. She opened it. A short message scrolled in the same colored light code. Erin, I see you. I'm here. Rhea. Skies miss your sunshine. Below it was a tiny data attachment. A holographic image of Rhea Station's twin moons rising over icy plains. Yes. Shay's face appeared, her hair lit by moonlight. She spoke, buffered by the filters, but Erin could hear her laugh. You always break the rules with your bright ideas. Well done, my queen of the sun. Erin smiled through tears. In that moment, distance vanished. Their friendship had bridged millions of kilometers with nothing but light and trust. Erin typed back a quick reply in the same secret code. Never doubted you. I'll keep shining. After the session, Erin packed a small crate of polished mercury crystals, gifts she knew Jaya would treasure, and loaded it onto the next supply pod bound for Rhea. As she watched the pod launch into the glare, she felt her own spirit shine. Humanity had turned silence into signal, despair into action. They rose through the void, guided by hope and creativity. That night, Erin stood once more on the deck, but now her heart was light. Imagine Jaya receiving the crystals, seeing those lights flash across Rhea's sky. She pictured the day they would stand together again, greeting each other with laughter as bright as Mercury's sun. Until then, they had each other's coded. Light a promise that no distance could dim the human spirit. Soren sat at the edge of the Ceres mining hub platform. The airlock hissed behind him, and the orange dust of the asteroid belt drifted past the windows. He pressed his palm against the cool glass, watching the thin stars beyond. Inside, the hub buzzed with machines and voices, but Soren felt shut off, as if he floated alone in the void. He remembered Vila's bright laugh. They had explored the dusty caverns of Ceres colony together, mapping tunnels and collecting unique rocks. Vila sketched each sample in her datapad with care, dreaming of writing a book about living minerals. Soren learned to admire her curious mind and quick smile. She made the old mining tunnels feel like a place full of wonder. But 2 months ago, Vila left for a Titan exploration station. She had been selected to join the first human team on the icy moon of Saturn. They had celebrated her appointment in the hub's mess hall, raising cups of synthesized root tea. She hugged Soren tight and whispered, "You will always be my favorite explorer." Then she walked into the shuttle, light in her eyes, leaving Soren behind. After Vila's departure, the hub felt smaller. Machines whirred and lights blinked, but the sound seemed hollow. Soren tried to join teams working on the new drill bores. He helped repair cargo bots and polished hull panels. Yet every time he heard the shuttle alarms, he looked up, hoping to see her return. Each time, his heart sank. He sent quiet messages through the fleet network, short texts, small drawings, even half-cent recordings of new crystal veins. None returned. The network filters near Titan ran strict security. Messages from Ceres could take days to route, and replies might never arrive. Soren found himself checking the console at every shift, studying the logs and signal charts for any sign of Vila. One evening, after a long day in the drill yard, he walked to the hub's old power station. It had been replaced by newer units, but its safety beacon still worked. Engineers seldom used it, and its main control panel was open. Soren ran his fingers over rusty switches and tangled cables. In the faint glow of warning lights, he felt a spark of hope. He could send more than text. He could send something they both understood. He cleared dust from a set of signal circuits and pieced together a simple flash code he remembered from training. It was a pattern of pauses and pulses they once used on rescue missions, when radios failed. He reprogrammed the safety beacon to send a series of light flashes each hour. Encoding the first notes of the melody, they hummed under the neon tunnels. That tune meant "I miss you" in their secret code. Soren tested the beacon at midnight, when the hub was quiet. He watched the orange light blink in 3 long and 2 short pulses. He held his breath. Then he increased the brightness and set the pattern to repeat for 10 minutes. His heart pounded. He didn't know if Titan's array could catch it, but he felt brave. That was a human choice he would not regret. Days passed. Checking the beacon logs and the CUM console, he repaired old control panels and recorded maintenance notes. Each time he saw the station's status update, he thought of Vila. Each free moment found him at the beacon, waiting. He believed that human hope could bridge any distance, just as they had survived Earth's collapse. One morning, as he walked to begin his shift, the hub lights dimmed briefly. The safety beacon flickered one extra time. He glanced up at the panel and saw a new readout. Signal bounce detected. His breath caught. He ran to the CUM console and opened the log files. There, in a string of incoming data, he saw a reply in the same flash code. 3 long, 2 short. He decoded it. "I see you." Below it, a text line blinked on the screen. "Series 2 Titan. Vela here. Your beacon reached me. I missed you too." His eyes filled with tears. Then another line. "Saturn's skies are grand, but not as grand as your courage." He laughed, a sound that filled the quiet hall. He tapped his reply. "I never stopped searching. I never stopped hoping." That evening, Soren stood again. At the edge of the platform, the hub glowed behind him, sent one more message, the full melody through a small speaker on the safety beacon. He watched as the tune pulsed into the sky, and far away on Titan's icy station, Vila listened and smiled. Across the vast silent belt, 2 friends found each other again. They proved that even in the deepest dark, human hope and human hearts shine brightest of all.